All right. Did you see Adrien Broner's fight this weekend, Jeff?
Yeah,
Against the
I got a chance to see it.
What did you think of that?
It's impressive. Very impressive.
What impresses you about him?
Well, I mean, the one thing is that, he was able to stay in the pocket, stay close to DeMarco, and really, I mean, he really beat DeMarco at his own game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, DeMarco, don't get me wrong. I mean, DeMarco is probably the best lightweight out there, but it's still by default because, I mean, basically he's a guy who, was lucky still to be champion. I mean, because he was getting thrashed by Guerrero, and of course, he came back and he fought his heart out.
Some people even eye Broner's future at 140. Do you think he'll go there eventually, and that will be where his defining fights are at?
One that's definitely where he has to go. I think that. I mean, he's one of those young fighters that basically, he's like one of those young fighters that come along like every 10 years. You have a Roy Jones, you have a Floyd Mayweather, you have a Ray Leonard, and I mean he's a guy that has that potential to be one of those type of fighters.
And how do you see him if he goes to 140 against guys like Matisse, Rios, Danny Garcia? Where does he kind of fit in your eyes?
Well, I mean, I think that he probably has better skills than all of them.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, with that being said, I mean, basically it ends up being a matter of punching power, and I think he punches probably harder than Danny Garcia.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he punches harder than Matisse, but Matisse's tough.
Yeah.
He's probably the toughest guy in 140 pounds.
And everyone, they'll even do the little comparisons, Adrien Broner to like a young Floyd. I mean, do you see similarities? What are your thoughts on that type of
Well,
stuff?
I mean, of course, you see some similarities. I mean, his antics, was a little overboard, but I mean, his ability to fight, basically allows him to get away with those type of antics. And at the same time, I don't think that he's really offending anyone. I don't think he's really offending anyone. I think that's just him. That's just his character, and that's what that's how he feel. And that's how he have fun.
And have you any idea on when Floyd might be returning? Do you think he's going to be eyeing, for example, the winner of the Andre Berto Robert Guerrero fight this weekend as a next foe, or what are your thoughts on Floyd's next move?
At this point, I don't really know. I just know that right now he's doing a lot of guest appearances and all over the country pretty much.
Yeah.
And so basically that's where his head is at right now. I don't think that, of course Floyd's not thinking about fighting, in the year 2012. So, I mean, basically right now, I don't really know what's next for him. I don't think nobody knows. He might not even know himself right now.
So do you think there'll come a moment where he gets that kind of hunger to get back in training?
I mean, one thing about Floyd, that's going to happen anyway. The second he does make up his mind, he's ready to fight. He's gonna click that switch, and he's gonna go back to being, the Floyd Mayweather, the fighter that everybody knows.
And last thing, I'm getting everyone's predictions. Robert Guerrero, Andre Berto. What are your thoughts this weekend?
I think the fight will be interesting. I think that, but I lean toward Berto because Berto's much stronger. And Berto's hands are faster, and Guerrero don't have the best defense. I mean, he's a tough guy, very tough guy, and I had a lot of respect for him when, not even has nothing to do with boxing, but when he actually retired, for the sake of his wife, to help her to benefit, but also knew that at the same time, in order to to try to help her situation, that he was going to have to come back to boxing because that's how he made money, and there was no way he was going to be able to, to take care of her by the money that he had already made. So, I mean, I just think that it was a noble act of him, and also show, his passion and his love for his wife, to walk away from the sport, for her, for the situation that she was in.
Okay. Thanks.